Hello explorers and welcome to another video. Today we are going to do some more Advent of Code. Let's have some fun. It's day 4 of the Advent of Code and we're going to look into some password parsing. So let's jump over to the thingy here. Let's see, this is day 4 password processing. You arrive at the airport only to realize that you grabbed your North Pole credentials instead of your password. While these documents are extremely similar, North Pole credentials aren't issued by a country and therefore aren't actually valid documentation for travel in most of the world. It seems like you are not the only one having problems though. A very long line of have formed for the automatic password scanners and the delay could upset your travel itinerary. Due to some questionable network security, you realize that you might be able to solve both these problems at the same time. The automatic password scanners are slow because you are having trouble detecting which passwords have all the required fields. The expected fields are as follows: a birth year, issue year, expiration date, height, hair color, eye color, password, and country ID. The password data is valid in batch files and your parcel input. Each password is represented of a sequence of key value pairs separated by spaces or new lines. Passwords are separated by blank lines. Each batch file containing 4 passwords, so this is the test data, and the next rules down here is that all of the fields should be present except for country ID, which we could deem as optional because then our password would be fine as well. So let's see if we can get this right. Of these 4 passwords here, 2 of them are valid because one of them has only SID missing, and the last one has SID and birth year missing, and then there were one that had height missing, and that's not allowed. So of 4 we have 2 left. So let's jump over to some code here. And here we have the example code. We create a new class, puzzle for a, and we need a main method there as well, as usual. And I think we should create this passport class directly here. So now we have a passport class. And I think we should have a list of required fields. And that's equal to a list of. And then we have a bunch of strings here. That should be fine. Let's go back to this and copy this list here. Do some work with that. And I will not have the optional country ID in my list because we don't really need to check for that in this code example because we are not having that as a required field. So let's just not add it to the required fields at the moment. So see, PID is the last one. So now we have all of those. So we have a list of required fields. And then I think the easiest way to get this done is to have this password being a class that you can just initiate. And then you have, so this list, is it immutable? List of, no, it's just a list of strings in this case. Doesn't seem to say anything about mutability. That's good, because then we could do like this. We could remove the fields as we see them. So we can have a public void add fields, like that, and that's a string, just one line. And then we have a public boolean valid passport, and it returns true if the required field is empty. So I will remove fields from the required fields as I find them. And here in the line, we can have the string array. Let's see here, of a splitted string equals line split with a space. So now we have all of those for each string. In the string array, we will split that again. Could have done this with a regex again, but I think this is pretty simple as well. So let's just take that and take the first part here and required fields, remove that object. And if S doesn't contain that, then we just continue. So we skip that one. So that, I think that's a way we can use this password clause. So in our main function here again, we need all of this reading logic again. So let's push that in here. We will change to the puzzle 4 test to begin with. And then we will have a bunch of lines up here. And in this case, we add the lines to inputs, but that's not what we want to do. We want to have a list of passport, pass list, new array list. And then here we have a passport, new passport. And if line is empty, then pass list, we add the new passport. No, we actually just count them here. I think that's fine. Valid passport. So I type password every time. So if we have an empty line, check if we have a valid passport. Valid passport is p valid passport 1 else 0. So that's, we add that to that. And here we can have passport add fields, and we give it the line. And down here we need to run this again, because then we have an extra passport that doesn't have any empty lines at the end. And lastly, we will print out the valid passport amount. And let's run the right puzzle here, puzzle 4, and we got an unsupported operation, mutable collection. So that was what I was, new array list of this. Can that work? No. this is string array list, required fields, static, required fields. No, it can't be static. It must be in the public passport. So we will do that in add all, and then we can have this list of this. We remove all the mutability. It's only with in a language where things aren't mutable by default, then it just add complexities like this one. So here we have 4 valid passwords and passports, and that's just not right. So I think we need to debug this. Let's see here. So here we have required fields, all of those. And then we go into this array here. And the first one is ECL. So that's removed. The next one is PID. So that's removed. So that's removed. Removed. Okay. So here we get another one. We add those. So here we should have an empty line. So then we will validate this one. So let's check. This is empty. So that's true. No, we didn't create a new one. That's the problem. New passport. So that's our main issue. So now we should get 2. Dun dun dun. Nice. So let's change our test set up. So we use this one instead. How many valid do we have? 228 valid passport. So let's put that into our puzzle. And it's right! You get a gold star, I get a gold star, everybody gets a gold star. We solved that one. Let's go over to number 2. Let's see here. The line is moving more quickly now, and you overhear the airport security talking about how passports with invalid data are getting through. Better add some data validation. Quick! You can continue to ignore SID field, but each other fields has strict rules about values that are valid for automatic validation. Birth year needs to be 4 digits and at least 1920 and at most 2002. Issue year between 2010 and 2020. Expiry year 2020 and 2030. Height is a number in centimeters or inch. And centimeters needs to be 150 and at most 193. And inches 59, 76. Hair color is an A followed by exactly followed exactly 6 characters. Okay, so that's a hex value. And then eye color is amber, blue, brown, gray, green, hazel, or other. And then the 9-digit number, including leading zeros. Okay? So there is a lot to parse here. Oh my God. So now we just need to take all these different things into account and require them to be correct. So we can do this in multiple ways. We can either have a lot of different data, or we can use regular expressions for all of these. And I believe that the simplest way is actually to have regular expressions for all of these different things here. So we need to put this into the function where we add things. So let's go back here and into the passport and go in here. Add this little comment up here so we know what we need to do. And so I'm back, and I thought just to optimize this a little bit, I typed out the required fields, different regular expressions. So the first one here will handle every year from 1920 up to 1999. And we need to separate these two because we can't really, with a regular expression, say that we want a different value at the start. So then we will handle the last years separately. The same goes for the issue year and the expiry year. Height was a little bit of a hassle because we have both inches and centimeters and a lot of different ranges. But this is what I came up with, a long list of different things that we need to check. And then we have this color, which is very simple because it's just a hex value and we need 6 of those. And then we have the optional hair color here. So we have different options of hair color. It's just separated with a dash or a pipe. And then we have 9 digits. So that's also a very simple case there. And down here I've started to look into, the first thing here is that we need a required field, and we need that key to actually be in our list if we want to continue. And then I will get that specific required field and put that into a pattern. So now we are up to where I was when I got interrupted, and actually the recording didn't really work well, and I just noted it. So here I am at the moment. Now I'm going to continue here creating a matcher for the value that we see here. So we need the second value of our input here into the matcher and see if that matches. And if it matches that regular expression, we can remove the required field. And that should be a way to see if we have a valid passport. If that worked, we have 175 valid passports. Let me see here if I can just refactor this a little bit. I had a typo. Not really important, but let's say. So 175, it's reasonable. That we have a little bit less than the earlier value, but I still want to test this out a bit. And they had on page here a couple of invalid ones, so these are invalid. So if we put those into our test here and run that, can see if we get the right. We get 0, we got 0, and then we had a bunch here that was valid. Let's put those into our test valid here as well and see if that, so we get 4 valid. So this means that we probably have the right answer. It should be 175. So let's check this out. See if the code was correct. 175, Submit. Ho! You get a gold star, I get a gold star, everybody gets a gold star. So this is done with regular expressions all the way. They are super powerful. The code is a little bit messy at times, but it's not that much extra work. What you need to keep in mind is here I create a lot of regular expressions. I compile them every time in order to use them. If I want to make this more performant, I would make these up here static and put them in the class as separate values and not be a part of this hash list. So I just have the required fields as a list again, and then make them compiled values before I continue. So I just need to check, okay, this is birth year. I want to test it with my birth year calculator and go for that compiled matcher, because regular expressions are powerful, but they require a bit of power to run as well. So if you are running them over and over and over again, then it's good to have a pattern that you compile and reuse. So this is what I wanted to cover today. I hope that you learned something today. I hope that you had fun with me today. If you have any comments or suggestions or other solutions that you have made on your own, leave those in the comment section down below. If you like this video, give it a like, share it with your friends and colleagues. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do that. And I really hope to see you in the next video.